Good evening, guys. Hello, how are you? Back again, another live stream. I did say that I was going to do this a bit earlier, and I am a man. I am a man of my word. Look, try to be. I know there's been times where I've said, "Oh, tomorrow I'll do a live stream," never get to it. Something else crops up, but I did want to do another one though. I wanted to start. I know that Mr. Dan Wootton, the GB presenter, is back on air today. He'll be back on at 9 o'clock. I just thought it would be interesting to do a live stream around this time, see what happens, see if there's any developments that come out. And I mean, there's probably, unless it's people tweeting stuff and tweeting about their past experiences with Dan Wootton, you might see his name trending. I mean, you probably will, in fairness, see his name trending overall. But I think with Dan Wootton he won't. There'll be maybe like a slight reference he might make to like all the allegations against him, like perhaps, or they might just everybody that's on the show will pretend as if nothing's happened, there's been no allegations at all. There's been nothing out there about Dan Wootton. So that's possible. It wouldn't surprise me. But I suppose it would be interesting to see what he does say though when his show comes on. So it's 9 o'clock that it comes on GBUs. I mean, I don't normally watch these shows. I'll usually keep up. I'll look at the Twitter timeline, what's the comments and the videos, what's being said there. But I won't, I never go out my way to watch GBUs on tally though. I'll watch clips, on YouTube. But let me know, guys. Leave a comment in the chat. Give me your take. Let me know what your thoughts are on all this stuff with the controversy with Dan Wootton and the allegations. Let me know what your thoughts are. I see trending right now on Twitter, Sir Kid Starver. So no surprise for guessing who this is in reference to, huh? So he's, I suppose, it's really, I guess, Sir Keir Starmer. He's not going to do anything different from what all the Tories, the people that he always, craps on. He's not going to make anything better for, people in deprived communities, people who really need a helping hand. Of course not, But that's trending right now, Sir Kid Starver. Gee whiz, eh? But I'm gonna put on Twitter, so I will put a link to my live stream. Maybe we'll get that. Hopefully help will help getting the numbers up. But just a minute. It's weird. Is things quiet today? Things just seem a bit quiet the past hour or so. Like I haven't seen any responses to people on WhatsApp, or how a lot of times you get WhatsApp down, there's an outage, you hear about it on Instagram and Facebook. Things just seem awful quiet right now, or is it just me? Kind of strange though. It's the link posted out now. There's a weird feeling today. Yeah, hi, thanks for joining, Cara. Do you feel that, Cara? Have you had that thing as well? People you haven't heard from people like WhatsApp you or whatever, or you just felt that in the past hour or so. It's been on and off here with weather as well. It's like sunny in the morning. Raining in the morning. Then it started getting a bit more. It was a bit sunny in the afternoon. Then late afternoon, it started to piss down a rain. But There's like a quieter used day also. It is a weird parallel universe we live in, Cara. It really is. Um, but again, it did get numbers up a little bit when I posted out the link yesterday with Dan Wootton. So I did the Dan Wootton hashtag. I just want to see what people are saying though right now because he will be going on air. I mean, it was just that weird thing of all of a sudden Dan Wootton started deleting a lot of old tweets. He deleted all the tweets I believe was on Hugh Edwards, and so I don't know, something's up. Something ain't right. Uh, yeah. Yeah, what happened, Cara? What was it? The fish passed away, right? Did I get that right? That story, or what exactly What exactly went down there? Sorry if I got the details a bit wrong, mixed up, but you have to be careful with YouTube. They don't send it like you're sending out too many links. I've noticed that. A crown tail beta, a beta. His bug. You're funny, Cara. When they're Maureen, I wasn't sure what going out of my way to message Maureen. She's got to watch rest her eyes. Um, to, see. Okay, I'll leave it for now, but I've sent another link. So we'll find out soon what people will be saying about Mr. Dan Wootton. I mean, no, he's probably not going to address the allegations directly. Can't see that happening. Yeah, Maureen is super cool. Yep, absolutely. Um, I'm sure somewhere there on the net there'll be other allegations out there, but yes, people know like they know how like dangerous Dan can be and the connections he has. So they really do watch. They really that's why you've only see one or two things, and one of the things is on one of them's on what was it, Fredders or whatever it's called. Um, but I'm seeing this thing now coming up on YouTube that people talking about it on a podcast. They're just saying, well, these allegations against Dan seem just to be the start. Yep, I think they're right on the money there. There's a boyfriend found a hard drive at Wootton's house, showed a some employee having sex with their partner. Yep, so it's all done. It was all been all blackmail. So it'll be just starting right away. Any second now. His show. Someone said, "Well, this is a." Oh, funnily enough, it's Maureen's guy, Cara Matthew Steeples. I don't know what your thoughts are on Matthew Steeples. I know you don't like Sean Atwood. So Matthew Steeples says Dan Wootton, whatever allegations against him are true or false, is a deeply unpleasant man who has made his name out of saying deeply unpleasant things. Johnny Depp is one obvious victim. Debatable in my personal opinion. Susan Boyle is another. So I don't know what's he said about Susan Boyle. I imagine he didn't say some very pleasant things about her back in the day, right? Let me guess, he's made comments about maybe saying she was what, autistic or used the R word, right? That's my guess, right? I'm guessing, that he might have said things along these lines, right? If it's Susan Boyle, but this is the Steeple Times moron of the moment, Dan. Hell of a voice, right? Yeah. It was weird because when she ended up getting on to the live stages, right? And then there was that thing where she had a bit of a meltdown. Was she all of a sudden she was starting to have a bit of a diva moment? And you know what? In a weird way, when I was younger and I saw that, I predicted that something like that would happen with Susan Boyle. And you know what it was? I think because there was so much hype around her, right? That this was it. It was already written. It was more or less she thought it was in the bag, right? She would win the show. And who it was? What was it? Those guys, Diversity. They went on to win the show, huh? But again, I don't know. I mean, she says that like because she lives in kind of like her same council house she lived in before, right? And she's happy enough with that and fair fine with the money that the record label gives her. And I guess if that's fine if she's genuinely happy with that, but then it could be just a case of that people kind of maybe she's not as clued up as some other people are in the industry, and then obviously the people in the music business they have no problem taking advantage of people like that, and but yeah. Hi, Shawnee. Back from a scheduled holiday in New Zealand. Yeah, I mean, it is possible, Shawnee, and thanks for joining here, by the way. It is possible that it generally was a holiday, and then this stuff just came out with allegations of people posting stuff online, social media. Yeah, Cara, pedestal was far too high. Yeah, it was way too much. It would go to anyone's head, right? But it didn't surprise me when it got to her head a bit. But again, certain people have feelings on this, with the Dan Wootton stuff. People think, well, this is all just bullshit. This is people on the left making things up to take the focus off the Hugh Edwards scandal. And it has done that. They have if that is generally the case and all these allegations are made up against Dan Wootton, they've done a masterful job, right, of taking the focus off of Hugh Edwards, right? I mean, you see very few articles, use things on the stuff with Hugh Edwards, right? When you think of how big of a thing that was, a week ago, right? It came a big thing, a week or so ago, where about the news presenter who, accused. They didn't name them yet. It was last Wednesday he was named, and his wife outed him. Funny that the wife outed him, but yeah, I mean, you could be. If I can understand people being real cynical, and thinking, well, is this just to alleviate the heat or attempt to alleviate the heat, some of the heat away from the stuff with Hugh Edwards? Maybe. But it could be just a case that, karma is coming to collect for Dan Wootton. And, I've had my doubts, and I've said before, well, Dan, I suppose you could say bare minimum is just a hypocrite with no morals, right? But I suppose what do you expect from people in that? Or he could be very, but the very worst could be, a dangerous man and, a predator. That's very well what he could be, based on the allegations that are out there. Condition to accept more and more. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? And it's the narrative as well, is it? You see that narrative about people saying that we've got to have sympathy for Hugh Edwards or empathy, whatever. And it's like, well, where's the empathy for somebody that's 20 years old and has a crack cocaine addiction? Where's the empathy there? Or are these used people just going to come out and have empathy because that's like their quote unquote friend? I highly doubt they're really friends, just kind of acquaintances, really, right? But they're going to try and defend and protect Hugh Edwards. It's like, where's your empathy for the victims? You get the standard line that people say, right? It's not the person. It's not the Hugh. That's not the Hugh Edwards I know. I think someone actually said that verbatim, right? Um, that's such an easy out though, because people can put on so many different faces, right? You hear that saying, "Oh, so and so, they have more faces than town hall clock," because people can do that easily, like very easily. Like so many people out there are chameleons, man. They can put on. They know exactly what face to put on for whatever person it is that they're dealing with. Like for some people, it's easy. But yeah, what was Matthew Steeple saying then? So he has his website, steepletimes.com. He says Dominic Cummings' mouthpiece Dan Wootton yet again shows himself to be a bit of a Burke and attacking both Tatler and Sir Keir Starmer in one hit in his column in The Sun. There's no date on this, so I'm assuming today or executive editor. Well, I think this must have been before, right? Because he's no longer with The Sun, right? This is something from when he was in an article column in The Sun, but so he says Wootton, he's a New Zealander known for his less than stellar career. He says he makes his skin crawl. Don't really see much there, though, to be fair. It's just nothing much, though. This must be like an old article from this is like from like 3 years ago. I'm looking at it here, but all right, yeah, no worries, Maureen. Yeah, join us when you can. That's no problem, Maureen. Let's see what people are saying, though. No thanks, Dan Wootton is on. Someone's saying they don't want to. Paint on characters, yeah, Cara. I know. I've dealt with a few chameleons in my time, and I think it's when good people are affected, I've seen that happen a lot. It's a bit hard for people like that to do that to me because, again, I can see through bullshit pretty easily, and I won't put up with it. And then that usually pisses them off a lot, though. So, there's the good and you take the rough with the smooth, I guess. Shawnee, I think the pressure to act is much greater if it's a BBC or ITV person compared to GBU's presenter. Yeah. I mean, interesting point, Shawnee. Yeah, but then don't you think though, because people on the left, and when you think of like the power of that left wing media, right? I still feel like a guy like he must be well connected, right, for this story for no one in the mainstream to be reporting on this, right? I mean, could even if let's say the mainstream were worried about with all things now when it comes to libel and libel laws, privacy laws, could they have not said a GBU's presenter accused of this in an article and not named them if they were that worried about potential lawsuits? Could they have not done that like what they did with Hugh Edwards? Or I guess was it a little bit different because with the case with the Hugh Edwards thing, it was the parents of the kids. They went to the Sun, and at that point, I mean, it wasn't. I don't think it was a moral thing on the part of the Sun, like, oh, we've got a duty of care on behalf of the parents, but the Sun did it. They ran with the story, but then would anybody run with the story though in this and with Dan Wootton in the mainstream media? That's the thing you got to remember. He is the mainstream media, but Dan Wootton will say all the right bloody things on his show, though. That's the thing, talking about MSM, mainstream media, woke ITV. He says all the right things, right? He says all the things that people on the right are like what they want to hear, right? Yeah, yeah. Lawrence Fox saying, "Oh, great to have Dan Wootton back. Missed you." Rah rah rah. Again, some of these guys, they don't. He's either got them fooled or they're in on it, though. That's the thing. And I've kind of like, for the most part, I like Lawrence Fox. I agree with a lot of what he has to say, but some people have doubts about him, though. There's rain here about Dr. David Kelly, right? One of many people that mysteriously just out of like nowhere committed suicide, huh? How many times have we seen these stories? Interesting. Have you guys seen that photographs of the U movie, the Snow White film? And there's like the seven dwarfs, right? But how many dwarfs are actually there? One. There's one dwarf, and they make it super woke, and you know what I mean? Like, because wasn't traditionally like the seven dwarfs? I can't again. I might have been. I was my mom or my dad read me that story when I was 4 or 5, but they were all Caucasian, right? They were all white. And I have to see a photo of this again because this is a thing, right? Go woke, go broke. It's so funny though because, and I'll get into this in a second, but I need to see the photographs again. So you have one dwarf, he's at the front, and then there's like it's like a mixed race dude with an afro. Then there's kind of like a white dude who looks like a nerd, and he's like called probably an omega male. Another white dude with a beard, quite long hair, with a gut. This is it. They're super woke with these things to the point where it's pretty freaking laughable. Right? They're making the Snow White super woke to keep all the progressives happy. But yeah, this is shit. If I had children, I wouldn't want any. I wouldn't want them seeing this shit. I would show them the old classics. Show them the old Jungle Book, and what else would be a good film when you're that age? Toy Story, I suppose. The first maybe two, but good God, woke book. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Wootton, exactly. Inside track and tabloid media, Shawnee. So he is well protected. When the guy that saying about Wootton that he assaulted him and drugged him, and saying that he went to the police, but then the police did nothing. From the sounds of it, from what he said in his statement, it wasn't like the police gave him an actual explanation, right? You think if something was legitimately dropped, there wasn't enough evidence, they would get back to the people that have gone and made the complaint and looking, they would have gone back to the guy, Sean, and said, well, this is it. We've looked into it, but we can't find anything. Given a bit more like a proper explanation, right? But these are the things when people are well connected, right? I mean, think about it, right? Think how Jimmy Savile got away with it for all these years, right? Jimmy Savile was like meeting up with police. He had buddies and the police going like in Leeds like once or twice a week. He would meet up with them every week. But this is this is what is this going on here about the Seven Dwarfs thing? So Piers Morgan asked James Barr why people who think gay actors should play gay roles have a problem with dwarfs playing dwarfs in Snow White. And this is the thing. This is my point, right? They're shooting themselves in the foot, the woke crowd, right? Because you know what it is? You know who gets affected by this? The people who are the dwarfs, the dwarf actors. They're the people that lose out on a role, who lose out on a good payday. And many of these people really need it because you're not always getting these roles that are coming about all the time for real small, you know, I'll be politically correct here, vertically challenged people, right? You're not going to get all these movies that come along all the time that will have these roles for these people, right? Harry Potter, you know, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. They're not going to, they won't come around all the time, you know? So these guys that are in the acting world, the dwarfs, little people, midgets, I'll just keep saying it, going on, but, you know, they're the ones that get screwed over, you know? It's just a joke. And it just seems to be like, this can't be serious, right? This has got to be, they're fucking with us well, they fuck with us a lot, right? But this has to be on purpose, right? You know. So then, yeah, I go on with the people who are the dwarfs. There's two black people, and then there's one guy that I guess he's meant to actually be a woman or something, but then he's like long hair, got a beard, and these are the seven. These are the seven dwarfs. These are the seven dwarfs. Again, I don't know, guys, if you've seen the photo or not, but and this is probably why Hollywood, you know, ultimately Disney is losing millions and millions of dollars, you know. I take it, Cara, you won't be taking your kid to see this Snow White film, right, Cara? So Dan Wootton's chatting away, going on about legal immigration and the usual stuff. Byline Times, though. So, funny enough, those people that reported the stuff about Dan Wootton being in on the end with, you know, when he was with the Sun and brokered the deal, the Sun, Phil's PR firm, to have that interview, for him to come out publicly on this morning on the Friday and then the day after do the interview with the Sun. So I would suggest that Dan Wootton was in on the know and he knew exactly what was going on with Phil and that young runner. You know, the thing we all really know about and know what the real deal is on that. Yeah, it's, I don't know how all the ages of them all, Cara. Some of them might be early 20s, to be honest with you, the so-called dwarfs. But so yeah, they're saying that, yeah, Dan Wootton posed as a fictitious show business agent called Martin Branning and offered his victim sums of 30 grand in return for sexually compromising pictures. Byline Times has passed a dossier of evidence to the Met Police. Will this go anywhere, though? So they say Byline Times has extensive evidence to show that between June 2008 and 2018, so overall this was going on for 10 years, that Wootton posed as a fictitious show business agent called Martin Branning to offer sums of up to 30 grand tax-free to his targets, many of whom were heterosexual men. Among them are a very senior executive at Rupert Murdoch's News UK, alongside at least 6 other staff at the Sun newspaper, one with close links, hear this out, to News UK CEO Rebecca Brooks. Friends, Facebook Association users of the dating apps Grindr and Gaydar. It says 2 of the targets made criminal complaints to Scotland Yard without knowing the real identity of their tormentor, with detectives aware of the activities of Branning. And then you've got that, yeah, because there's the Martin Branning, Martin Fowler, Max Branning thing. So they've got there's some good articles that go into good detail here on this stuff. So this is Adam Bienkov, political editor of the Byline Times. So I might give him see what happens, see what comes of that. Yeah, I would going back to that Seven Dwarfs thing, but like, yeah, there's no way if I had kids, I would take them to that though. All that woke bullshit. Yeah, so overall, Shawnee, yeah, I don't think you've been on the chat before, have you? Take it you're not a big fan of Dan Wootton. But yeah, they do some good work, this Byline Investigators. So, journalists, it continues on here. So it says, our journalists handed a 28-page dossier of evidence to the Metropolitan Police for an investigation on the 20th of June, 2023. However, last week, criminal claims started to emerge on social media, with the post rapidly attracting more than 18 million views, causing Wootton to trend on Twitter several days. As a result, this newspaper is today publishing some details of our findings. We have identified 5 co-conspirators, along with a representative group of around a dozen victims. However, sources suggest the true figure extends to many, many more men. Byline Times knows the name of those involved, but in order to protect the victims in the course of justice, it will not be revealing them publicly. Horror. Yeah. It's always when you're that age and you're young, Cara, it's like you're 9, 10, you want to be watching the 18 films, right? The certificates with 18s, 15s, whatever. Even though it's not really good for you, right? I mean, I'd be quite protective with me as a parent and not want my kids to watch these films, even if other parents don't care and allow their kids to. But that's just me. But so it says here that Wootton has been taken off air at GBU's, on which he hosts a weeknightly show, for 2 weeks taking leave to visit his family, who live near Wellington in his native New Zealand. He has been silent in the face of mass Twitter accusations, except to retweet promotions of his broadcasting return due to 9 p.m. tonight. Yeah, so he deleted a lot of tweets, right? Deleted all this stuff on Hugh Edwards and what have you. And so they were talking about how that dude, Mark Dolan, had filled in for Dan Wootton last week. He was the guy that used to do the Balls of Steel show, host that. So they say here, at the time of Dolan's most recent comment, Byline Times investigators had already informed executives at GBUs of the scope and the veracity of allegations against Wootton, but the channel has continued to heavily promote Wootton's program. Yeah. And what was weird when Mark Dolan was doing like Dan Wootton tonight, it's like, well, he's on holiday. Like, why would you not just call it Mark? What's his fucking name again? Mark Dolan tonight. But It says during the established period of his activities, Wootton was initially an influential editor for Murdoch's News of the World before moving, once that paper closed in 2011 after the phone hacking scandal, to the Daily Mail. And this is the thing, they all get moved about because they're all roll in the same social circles, right? They're all friends with one another. So he moved to the Daily Mail, and then from 2013 to Britain's biggest selling tabloid, The Sun, in which he edited its bizarre showbiz column before becoming an associate editor. His career has given him great power and influence in British media and access to the world of television, celebrity, and the monarchy, in which it is his highly paid professional role to report. Yeah. And that's why people shouldn't really buy into this idea that he's now like right wing and he's kind of like, what's the word I'm looking to, on the fringe, with politically. It says here, tonight, a representative for Dan Wootton declined to provide Byline Times with an on-the-record response. It is understood that he strongly denies all allegations of criminality. The representative did not clarify when asked whether Wootton also denies being Martin Branning. Of course not, right? Because if he says he's going to deny it, and then it could be one day proven in a court of law, then he's in deep fucking shit, right? Dirty deleters, exactly, Cara. I know. It's too much, is it? It's so too much, and we should already known that this guy is a bit of a sleazeball. Really, he just has that look about him. I mean, maybe it's harsh to judge people like looking at someone, but you can just kind of know with certain people like that they're kind of like they're fucked up, right? I mean, and so it says here, Byline Times evidence extends to an account of admissions Dan Wootton made to a trusted former colleague and friend, in which during his many moments of crisis, he revealed his fear of being exposed as Martin Branning and the prospect of a pile-on of victims. One victim, who is married with children, told this newspaper that he was left in shock to receive a text from Branning offering him 10 grand tax-free in return for private work and deposed Ude, adding it felt like blackball or entrapment. A second victim told Byline Times that Branning had sent him messages from untraceable numbers day and night, offering sums up to 30 grand in return for sexually compromising pictures, and then quote, unquote, and that sort of thing. This victim said he uncovered a pattern of men who had worked for Wootton being harassed with unsolicited malicious communications. See, so there's a lot to this here. There really is. And I don't think it could just be a simple, like a left-wing conspiracy theory to take away from all the shit with Hugh Edwards. I don't see it that way myself personally. I would stake my reputation on the line that I believe that these allegations are true. It was all pretty much always the same thing. 20, 30 grand for naked photos. Aren't you intrigued about who I am? Yeah. I mean, didn't he used to say something similar where you go into bars and he would say, don't you know who I am? And people would just look at him and be like, what the fuck, It's not as Dan Wootton was that well known, right? You're known because you latch on to the celebrities, right? You're a parasite, Dan. That's what people in that world are. And yeah, people probably tolerated you over the years because it was easier for them to be your friend rather to be your enemy. That's it, though. They don't care or like about you or think about you on a personal level. And it was probably that way for Piers Morgan for years and years, but to the point where he's so bloody fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, intrusive, that people eventually over time just, okay, you can hang around. Okay, yeah, we can be pally. And I guess, I imagine there is a few celebrities out there who Piers Morgan generally considers friends, right? But then there's those people who just choose to tolerate him and, they humor him and they'll entertain his bullshit. But, it is what it is. That's the world we're living in. Spitting facts through the raps. Yeah, it's Mac. I can keep going. But, yeah, so I was going on. So, yeah, so the person said it was the second victim, all this stuff was driving him insane and ultimately provoked him to go to the police, who sent a detective to his home to take a statement in 2019. A third victim, former junior colleague, has indicated that he's willing to speak to the police, revealed how on several occasions he received disguised calls with offers of work and with a sexual context, and it was pretty obvious they were from Wootton. A fourth victim, another junior colleague, was contacted on Facebook by Wootton in 2009. Gee, yeah, I heard about this, so I saw this on Twitter as well a few days back. And he was posing as a blonde woman called Maria Joseph, who exchanged flirty messages before swapping images of an unconnected female face from reality TV in return for images of the colleague, who is heterosexual and today and also married with children. So this article keeps going on and on. It's quite a lot. I'm just going to see now. I don't know. Maybe I'll see in a minute of Maureen. Come on. Hopefully Maureen should be able to get on soon. Verboten, welcome. How are you? Yeah, I mean, is that something that is common? I've never had pets before. Verboten, is that common that people do that? Get a cat sitter, or is that really if you're kind of like posh and you've got a fair bit of money on you? Or sorry, I'm a bit naive to these things with cat sitting. I know people who are dog sitters, but so the fourth victim said, I received a friend request from a girl called Maria Joseph. Immediately, she was very flirty, and having just come out of a messy breakup, I didn't have my wits about me as much as I should. She'd soon start to send me semi-nude pics and swap to email and phone. Her number was a New Zealand number, as she said she'd just come back from a year over there. As more pics came through, she started to request them from me, which I duly obliged. But he did say in brackets, it says in brackets, fortunately, I kept my face out of it. Then she started to send me ones she'd already sent, which she brushed off with, obviously, I'm talking to a few guys at the same time. Jeez, oh. At this point, I'm being super, jeez, oh. At this point, I'm being super careful and start to snoop further into her profile. Catfishing wasn't really a known thing back then, but I knew something was up. Yeah, I mean, you see this so much on Tinder. Like, I see this all the time. Like, I'm a single guy. I'm on Tinder. And trust me, there's plenty of people that you probably think are in happy relationships, but you will come across on Tinder. Like, a lot of people are at it, on there. With I see that an awful lot with these girls, and it's like the same old story. These like kind of like attractive young Asian women, and it's the same thing of I base my time in Dubai and Aberdeen and blah blah blah, and coming off super over friendly, and they barely know you. It's same old. I've always had cats, never a cat sitter, but then again, I'm a posher. Yeah, unlike me, huh? But single and ready to mingle. I'm definitely single and ready to mingle, to be fair, but so catfishing wasn't really a known thing. We had 5 friends in common on Facebook. Dan had 4 plus others. When I clicked the others, the only common link was Dan. Then a video came through of her having sex with a man. However, I recognized him from someone from a reality show as he's a friend of a friend. This made me realize I knew the identity of the girl and that it could not be legitimate. So if this a New Zealand number, the sole common denominator, I'm sure it was him. So I messaged Maria to say, "Hi Dan, interesting way to get dick pics." The next day the profile was gone. I was embarrassed that I had not been vigilant. It makes my blood run cold as to how vulnerable I had made myself. I felt stupid. Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, certain people are just suckers, right? If they think it's a pretty woman that you see on Facebook or wherever the hell you start speaking to them, Skype, whatever. I've heard stories of people randomly getting back in when work was more common when people used Skype like 10 years ago, that these attractive Asian girls would randomly add them. But you kind of you know something. If you're a guy that's like had experience with women, all right looking, fairly clued up, like you should know, you should be able to spot a catfish. Some people can get fooled, and I'm not going to be like one of these assholes that's like, ha ha ha, that's all in you. You got screwed out all your money. I'm not that type of dude, right? But I think certain people, though, could be a little bit more clued on. But certain guys can just be in a certain position. I mean, you know, the type of guys that get with buddy Thai mail order brides, they could easily fall for shit like this, right? I mean, it is sad though, isn't it? But Cara would have loved to have seen Dan's face reading the message. Yeah, I know. He would have, there would have been a bit of, oh fuck, you know, Dan. But he's a, oh fuck, I wouldn't want to cross Dan though. I don't think I could cross Dan, but then I guess I'm kind of going up against Wootton, you know, and his bloody machine that he's in by doing videos like this. And for some reason, right, and I've said this before, very few videos when I put Dan Wootton on the title get monetized. Practically all my Fox Schofield videos got monetized though. So it is strange that I can get nothing barely monetized in Dan Wootton, but I can on Fox Schofield though. So it goes on. It says Byline Times is publishing today following a series of revelations made on Twitter by Wootton's former partner of 4 years, Alex, and a thread of tweets which at time of publication had attracted more than 15 million views. Mr. Truby said that Wootton gained unauthorized access to his social media accounts and email, leading him to suspect he was being stalked. So yeah, we've heard about this before, right? The intrusion came evident when Mr. Truby found his Gmail account was being accessed from IP address at the User of the World office. I think this was the part of the story, right? That was ex-Army Paz was saying that wouldn't have been possible to get his access from Gmail. And this is when he's at his workplace with the IP address there. Maybe certain details are not fully accurate here, but for the most part, when it comes to what these allegations are with the stalking and the blackmailing and the catfishing, you know, I can believe them. And so this is the thing here. He's flat sitting for Wootton, and then he found a padlock hold all concealed behind Wootton's washing machine, which he opened and found an external hard drive inside containing a secretly filmed video of an employee of the Sun engaged in sexual activity with their partner. And with the video, Mr. Truby described finding a transcript of an MSN Messenger conversation. So I wonder what year this was, right? Because people were by about 2011, right? No one was really using MSN Messenger, right? So this had to be probably from what, 08 to 010, right? And this is maybe something where it'll be interesting to see, like, again, there's where the exact timelines are of everything, but and it goes on and saying the MSN conversation was between the colleague's partner and someone called Martin Branning, whereby an arrangement was indeed made to make the sex tape in secret, without his colleague's knowledge, in exchange for £500. Mr. Truby wrote, "I knew instantly that Martin Branning was Dan." There's a little bit more to go on. And it says Byline Times has learned that before ending his relationship with Wootton, Mr. Truby confronted him over the contents of the holdall. Mr. Mr. Truby said that Wootton made a tearful admission of guilt, right? So I guess when you're cornered like that and you're fucked, what have you got to do, right, to try and get out of it? Hope put on the waterworks, huh? He made a tearful admission of guilt, acknowledging he was the creator and controller of Martin Branning. Persuade him. So Byline Times has put the content of the story in its entirety to GBU's Mail Online and the Metropolitan Police. After it was announced that Wootton would be fronting his regular GBU show at 9 p.m., Byline Times again approached it for comment, extending the deadline for a response. At the time of publication, no comment has been provided. So there you go. And then a spokesman for Use UK said, we received an email from Byline this afternoon, which we are looking into. Yeah, for sure, right? We will not be able to make any further comment at this stage. So at least they said something, right? Use UK, but GBUs, though, they're not going to say shit on this, huh? But yeah, there you go. I mean, that's the old saying goes, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire, huh? But if you guys, anybody here, got a comment, your thoughts on all this, let me know. Leave a message, leave a comment in the chat. Let me know what you think. I'll see what people are saying on here. About Danny Boy. Darren Grimes, he's a bit of a sketchy one, though, is he? The king of evening news telly. It's like, come on. I'm going to put out another link on Twitter. Yeah. I mean, there's people on here. Maybe not everybody, though. They've got the link from Twitter, but they don't have an account. I'll see. I'm going to see, though, if Maureen's there. Maureen was the one that actually brought up on Sean Atwood's show. Mm-hmm. So I'll just give Maureen, are you able to come on there? Oh, here we go. Just as I was texting you, Maureen. Hiya. Hi, Maureen. you just missed some of the stuff I've been going through, Maureen, but I could always bring it up again. It was just the stuff with the controversy with Dan Wootton, all that stuff with there's a few different allegations there. You know, there's the stuff with harassment, catfishing. Just seeing what people are saying on Twitter about it. You're loving Maureen, huh, Cara? Yeah. Good to get the girls back. Yeah, they've seen they show you that photo of Dan when he's giving flowers off. There's the thing for the Queen. I don't know if that would have been outside Buckingham Palace after she passed away, but it came off very fake, just very strange looking. And Dan's there standing just for like 3 seconds doing this with his hands like this. Very odd. No, Maureen, he's on right now, actually. He's on 9. He's always on 9 to 11, Monday, Thursday. Okay, leave it for now. Try not to look at Twitter for now. Has Cara been a bit flirty with you, Maureen? She used to say she was sliding into my wife's DMs, right? You know, she's she likes to tease. Just a bit, Maureen? Just a bit. Yeah. If you look on Twitter, Maureen, he's on. He's already going on chatting about shit and standard things, or illegal immigration, this, that, the other. You know, not saying that isn't a problem, but you know, it's the standard things that people on the right talk about, isn't it? Never. Sure, Kat. But some of the other things that I was wanting to touch on, because you know, I did have that on the title for the live stream. It's all that stuff with Andrew Tate, and there's a conservative commentator you'd see online by Liz Wheeler, right? She posted this video, and it's a real excellent video because it's got Andrew Tate when he's spouting all his BS, like in the BBC interview, the interview that he did with Tucker Carlson, and it really does just expose all of Andrew Tate's lies. You know, all this stuff about Andrew Tate claiming that he didn't, you know, all the coercion, and there was all this stuff there with human trafficking. There's other stuff there when it comes to the rape allegations. But all these different things that Andrew Tate lied and said he never said, there is old footage of that stuff coming out where he you know, he did say these things. But of course, Andrew Tate will lie, he'll bullshit, he'll claim it was in a different context. He'll say this, he'll say that, anything to worm his way out of all this stuff. I mean, I said it last year when I did a video on him. It was about 10, 11 months ago, this point last year. I said to him, you know, he'll get exposed soon. And then about 4 months later, he did. You know, I could see it coming, but I don't think doing all these videos is going to help him, but it's strange though that he's still getting to do all these videos. I wasn't sure, like when you had that arrest, he was under house arrest. I wasn't sure if that meant that part of the conditions would be that you wouldn't be able to do all this stuff, talking on social media. You wouldn't be out of your way. You'd be actually doing your own your live streams. You'd have a channel, and then you're there with your brother smoking a cigar with your shirt off. It's just certain things you think when you've got this. He really looks like he's going to be in a fight for his life, right? Like he could be going to jail for a very long time if convicted. Yeah, I mean that's the very least. He's got issues there. Yeah, Cara, absolutely, couldn't agree more. Yeah, I didn't see it all, Mori. No, it was just certain comments. It's like him talking about the whole thing, Russia, Ukraine, whatever. But it's just the same thing of Tate just telling bull-faced lies and maybe saying some things when it comes to the system and the elites. Some things that are true, some interesting out there takes that he has. I'll admit that, but that's all he is going to do. He's just going to deny it. He's going to deny everything. Yeah, they both are. They're both not right in the head. He's a little bit more crazy out there with a bigger, larger than life personality. Andrew does than his brother Tristan, but they're both really just as bad as each other, right? I don't think Tristan though is somebody who's had a rape allegation against them though. I think that's just Andrew. But I want to find out where was I had a tweet that I had said to someone because someone was making a joke about how Logan Paul. I'm not really a Logan Paul fan either, right? Saying about how Logan Paul said Andrew Tate will have an ounce of relevancy in 2023. And then pointed out, well, a couple of days ago, Tucker and Carlson and Tate had a most watched interview in TV history of like all the millions of views, I guess, they got for it on Twitter and other platforms. And I just put a tweet and I said, maybe, but this is Andrew Tate we're talking about, who claims he gives $25 million a year to charity. And then that was the same amount he claims that he was offered by the elites to keep quiet. And then there's Tucker Carlson, who said he hated Trump with a passion, but now he says he's a great guy. So can we really trust either of these guys? Especially Andrew Tate. Yeah, she's not really out there in the public eye, is she, Maureen? Don't hear much about her or see many photos. You do hear the stuff about the dad, right? The father passed away, though, right? He was a big time chess player, right? But like he's okay, but I just still have my doubts about the guy because he says about how I'm so glad I no longer Trump's going to be on the air, but then at the same time, well, Tucker, I mean, you can't tell me that you'd ever have preferred Biden as the president, right, over Trump. Like again, I'm sorry, not everybody might agree with me here, but if we were going to do the lesser of the two evils thing, I would still say Trump would have been much better than Biden. I've got no problem saying that, but it did come out in texts that were leaked that Tucker was saying to his other colleagues there in Fox News that he hated Trump with a passion. Tucker Carlson Trump. See what people. So this was Tucker Carlson 16, and this is about yesterday, right? It said Trump is the one guy with an actual shot of becoming president who dissents from Washington's long-standing pointless war agenda. They're trying to take Trump out before you can vote for him. I would just say, thought you hated Trump. I thought you hated Trump with a passion. I'll put that. See what people say. Maybe one or two people will bite, but that's politics. Yeah, I know. I know. I guess you can't take it too personally, huh? But so it was, yeah, 20 years ago to this day, Dr. David Kelly died. Weird. I remember I was 12 years old at the time, right? 12 years old at the time. And I never remember this being a big news headline, right? About this guy, Dr. David Kelly. But there's a thing about it here, questions that still demand an answer. Absolutely. 20 years ago today, Dr. Kelly, UK scientist and weapons expert, was found dead. Alistair Campbell and Tony Blair have shamelessly never been held to account. Hashtag never Labour. Paid of war criminals. But he was the guy trying to expose the whole thing about or basically trying to expose about, look, there isn't really any weapons of mass destruction, right? Just happens to commit suicide, right? Yep, people saying, why wasn't there never a full inquest into was that a cover up? More than likely. And it said here that Dr. David Kelly testified in front of a select committee, and it said Iraq had no biological weapons. 2 days later, he was dead. 2 days later, he just decides to take himself out of the game. Really? I agree, Maureen. I agree. Mm-hmm. I'll just one last check what people, anything else about Dan Wootton, what he's been saying. So they're talking about just stop oil. Yep, he's on. That seems to be a new term, is it, Cara? Suicided. I never really heard that one until quite recently. Hell's bells. Aha. Yeah. People going on about, oh, so good to see Dan Wootton back from his scheduled holiday. Lovely pic of him and his beautiful niece. Yeah, people giving a lot of grief to that Darren Grimes as well. He's another funny one. Yeah, some of these new phrases, they bug the shit out of me though, Cara, to be fair. But no, I highly doubt they'll mention this or make a slight reference to it on Maureen, the Twitter frenzy. I doubt that very much. Martin Branning. I think that was trending, but that was a few days ago. Yeah, that was the guy. That was Darren Grimes, the king of views. Like, give me a break. I think it was probably because Dan was responsible for getting the dig, for getting him the gig on GBUs. So I think that's just one of those things. It's he feels indebted to him. He's no king of anything, is he? The king of what the trash tabloid world, maybe at one point. Could give him that, but yeah, that's a much better one. That's a much better one, Cara. It's just like that, is it? You don't hear anything about Philip Schofield anymore, huh? Just thinking that. When you look when you search up his name on Twitter, it's like stuff from like a week ago, 5 days ago. That's the stuff. Like that's the top results. Hugh Edwards might be a bit more recent, but even then, that's kind of gone away. Yeah, no one's saying anything anymore. Yeah, but yeah, Dan Wootton Morin, yeah, he deleted a lot of his posts on the Hugh Edwards stuff. Yeah. Yeah, of course, though, people like Owen Jones and Ash Sarkar are going to say that Hugh Edwards did nothing wrong. It's like, yeah, as if. I mean, they'll try and get out of it on technicality, right, and say, "Oh well, it was nothing illegal," but he broke the lockdown rules for one. Um, Because that stuff obviously about getting explicit images, somebody 17, just under 18, that's a little bit, obviously a bit iffy. But yeah, he played the mental health card. He played the mental health card, Cara. Hugh. His wife did it on behalf of him. Played it beautifully. Filthy, yeah. Pip, or was it Pip? You used to like to call him that, Maureen. Pip. Yeah, well, I think when you just do a basic Google search in Dan's name, I don't think much comes up, but work for the Sun. You don't see much, though. Obviously, Daily Mail, the Sun, they aren't touching this story. Yep, they're all getting away with it. Absolutely. Unless you could get fully exposed, though, but then again, would they fully imagine? Could you see that happening, them getting fully exposed? Let's say if this stuff with Dan Wootton, all these allegations are true. If Dan Wootton, when he was working for the Sun, was really in on what happened with the stuff with Philip Schofield, that his boss was in on it, they brokered the deal. That was to control the narrative. There really was a super injunction, or they paid him off, paid McGreevy off to keep quiet. What are people saying? I've still, by the way, I kept saying I've got to get to work on that video I promised people that voted for the dark side of Will Smith. Still not sure, debating whether how I need to do it. If I need to break down into sections, parts, like start of his career, the Brappen days, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air days, the rise to the superstardom, Hollywood. Then there's obviously the Chris Rock slap. Can't not talk about that. But I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do though. Has been silenced by payment. It wouldn't surprise me. But I just feel I still feel we won't hear from this kid, right, Maureen McGreevy, because with all these people in the media, the stuff that people did, the BBC doing the interview with Phil, there was an interview with the Sun as well. They came out at virtually the same time. So many people, though, if it got exposed that this was all bullshit, right? So many people went out their way to try and stick their necks on the line for him, right? So that's why I just feel I don't enjoy saying this, but I just get a feeling that the real truth on that stuff for Schofield and the young runner won't come out. I just unfortunately we there's not much justice in the real world, is there? That I just feel this stuff will all be kept quiet, but one last look at Dan Wootton on Twitter. Let's see if there's anything else. Can't see any recent things. Again, he's not somebody I follow. I follow the G, but I don't follow him. I did at one point, but not anymore. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to start wrapping this up now because I won't say I'm totally tired, but I think I just need to take a rest now, get a drink, get a bite to eat. I did say I wanted to be a bit more, do these a little bit more though weekly. I'm not going to be like doing like 5 a week, but maybe try and do like 2 free live streams a week. I think that's a fair amount to do. I think I'm just going to call it a night now. I'll see how I feel tomorrow. I'm not going to promise that I'll do one tomorrow, but if I am going to do one tomorrow, I'll try and do it a little bit earlier though. Oh yeah, it was really good, wasn't it? Real powerful interview, real strong. He just seems like a good, honest kid, and I've wanted him to do well, where a lot of people were wishing that he was going to fall flat in his arse, but I really hope he comes back strong though. The next season does well for Everton. But I'm just going to call it evening though, guys. Again, I don't know. I might not be back tomorrow, but if I let you know though, like if I do decide to do a live stream, I'll give you a bit of an advance and let you know what, like maybe a half hour in advance. I'll let you know when I'm going to be on. But that's me. I'm just going to call it a night now. So thanks very much. Thanks everyone who joined the live stream. I'll see you all again. Definitely we'll see you again later this week for another one. So thanks, guys. Cheers. Bye.